welcome everybody who might be online. We're going to give it just a few minutes before we start, but we figured we'd start the recording or the broadcast now. Everything all right?
Yeah, it's just my Facebook's not working.
Maybe
Okay.
because you're not on Wi-Fi.
No, yeah, it's okay. It's working here. So.
Okay. All right, we're at 7 o'clock, so we'll keep this train rolling. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we get some more people online. I see there's at least one or two other people on there right now, so we'll kind of roll in. Hopefully people can hear me. All right, we tried to stand a little closer to the iPad this time. Erica, do we want to go over the treasurer's report first thing?
Sure, let me try and stand closer. We had a decent amount of money going in and out over the past month. I did make more purchases for our Halloween Warrior Night that now will be in November, so we'll still be able to use all of that. We had some money for grants going out for a choir field trip, to the scholarships for Camp Timberley, the celebration committee. When we have our Warrior Nights, we donate some money to the Sheriff's Department for their traffic control. We did buy that AUGS drink cooler that's going to have, our logo on it, and that has arrived. We do have it, so you'll see that at the next Warrior Night. I had to buy more checks. We had to pay for some copies and our insurance renewal. And then coming in, we had some more money come in from the One and Done fundraiser. We had money coming in from Richardson's. However, you'll see on the bottom that they have, they have not cashed our check yet for that. Action Territory, we got the check from that. That was a good amount. We raised a little over $1,200 for that. The Spirit Wear store, we got a little over $400. So for Richardson's, I put approximately $1,000 because from what we got through our card reader, I didn't know which was, pool party, which was that. So, but still a good fundraiser for us. The Action Territory was a great one. So we're doing well. Once we have take into account the money that I have in the cash boxes for the Warrior Nights and subtracting, the money that once they cash our check for Richardson's, you'll see that available balance is more in line of what we actually have. So almost $12,000. So we are doing well.
Okay. So now quick question, is
Yeah.
the available balance counting the money in the cash box?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So, yeah, rolling. Busy month for you, Erica. Thank you for pulling all that together. So that's great. And that's the treasurer's report. If you guys have questions, let us know. Erica, myself, we can get you guys answers. But yeah, actually, I was pleasantly surprised with the Richardson because that was not looking like we were going to make much money off of that. And we knew that kind of going in, that it wasn't made to be a big fundraiser for us. That was more of an activity, kind of a fun to do. If we made some money off of it, great. But I think when they kind of changed the numbers when we went to settle up, and then I kind of called them on that, I think they gave us a better deal than what they told us originally. So worked out to our advantage. But that was a fun night, even though the weather was not that great. Fun night. All right. Being that we just talked about money, we're going to talk about money a little bit more. We're going to go into grant requests. So we have a few this month. This one, I can't give you too much information about it because I've been kind of sworn to secrecy about it. But what I can tell you is that there's a committee that's looking for $150. The purpose is kind of classified. It's something that goes into the spirit bucket, but they don't want to release that information out there because they want to kind of keep what they're doing secret. So what I can tell you is it aligns with what we are all about. I think it's a valid request, and the amount of money is not that much. I vote that we should approve this and get this money over to them. Anybody have any questions that I may or may not be able to answer? I'm happy to answer to some of this, especially to the board members if they have questions about it, because I can swear you to secrecy and things like that. But right now, if I say anything, I think I'll no longer be on this planet. So we're not going to do that. Any questions, comments?
Is it more to benefit students or staff?
Staff.
Staff, okay.
So that's all I can kind of say about that.
I think it's fine. We have plenty of funds.
Yeah, exactly. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, then we'll consider that approved. Whoever requested it, if you are online watching, I will be in touch with you and we'll figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, just let me know who I need to make the check out to.
Well, we can't tell you. No, I'm kidding.
I need to take out cash.
Our next request comes from Mr. Caney, and I think he put this in not only just for him, but I think also for the organizers of Battle of the Books. This is something we did last year as well. They're looking for their books for Battle of the Books. There's 12 books that they're looking to get, 3 copies each of, so that's a total of 36 books. These are all accepted books on different lists and whatnot. I have no issues, again, with this purchase. This is something we've done before. They take these books, and then after they're done with Battle of the Books, they just add them to the library circulation, right, Joe? Is that what happens? So going from there, I think last year what we did, though, is if there were books that we could get through Amazon, we just went and did the purchase, so we weren't moving books back and forth so much. I mean, we're okay doing that, or we can cut a check for it if we know that's the amount. It doesn't really matter to us, I guess, from those respects, but sometimes it's easier if we can just do the purchase for it if we approve this. So, again, I'm in favor. Anybody have any other questions about it?
No.
Okay, are there any online?
No,
See?
no questions.
Okay. All right, then we'll just say, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Any opposed?
No.
All right. So we'll call that passed. That amount, I think, is based off of your estimate, Joe. I don't know where you got those numbers from.
Amy Bendo gave me that amount off of a quote she had.
From like Scholastic or something?
Yeah, whatever vendor we use.
Okay.
That's fine, just skip it.
And that's fine, we can do that too.
Easier.
So should we just get a check cut for that amount to the school then?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll do that then. And that'll pass that way then. All right, cool. All right. Then there was a request, and this is from the Family Engagement Committee, who is searching for donations. It's something that the board has already heard about, because I've kind of talked to you guys about this a little bit more. They're looking for items that they can raffle off for people who come to conferences, families that come to conferences. And so they were asking for, specifically they were asking for spiritware. Do we have anything that we can give that they can throw together in some baskets or whatnot that they can make raffle prizes? So that being said, we have 2 shirts. One is already kind of spoken for. We said we were gonna give that to the new superintendent at some point. We haven't done it though, so that train is kind of leaving the station here a little bit, but we said we still want to do it. So I've got that reserved. We have one other shirt that we could do. It's like a long sleeve t-shirt, AUGS t-shirt. And we also have, I think, 24 of those travel mugs that we gave to the staff at the beginning of the year. I don't know if there were any more left over here, but I think we have a case.
Few in the cabinet.
So, and you guys can keep those, use those for new staff members or whatever, but we have like 24 more of those. If I still pull one of those out for the superintendent to go with the t-shirt, which was kind of the plan. We also have a bunch of those static stickers that we give away for like people signing up to our thing. I don't know if that's gonna move any needles for anyone, but we could put together a little basket with some of those things. Open to any other ideas of things we could do. Obviously, we have a spirit store going on right now, and I'd be happy to purchase something to go to that, but we won't get it in time.
Yeah.
So,
Did they say how many things they were looking, like how many people they're, or how many raffle items they're?
I think they were just happy with however many they could get. You know, anything that they could get their hands on would be helpful. And I kind of said, we'll do something, I just don't know what and how many we would want to do for that, you know, so.
I just said, like, could we, you know, purchase a few like $5 gift cards, or see if we could get donated, you know, some gift cards, or, you know, stuff like that to go with it.
I don't see why we couldn't.
You know.
You know, there's a bunch of things we could do. I don't know, could we do, you know, they were talking about spirit wear, could we, I could talk to our American Outfitters people and say, hey, can we do like some kind of
Store credit or something?
You know?
Mrs. Guanchi said, I'm on the committee and we would like to create a basket for each grade level.
So they're looking for
Oh,
three
okay.
baskets total.
Sure. So
Um,
we don't have a whole lot of
Stuff.
stuff per
Yeah.
se to add to it, but I mean, we could do other things.
I still say we offload some of those mugs.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. And then the static stickers, we can put them inside the mugs.
So should we just try to create 3 baskets with the things that we have? You know, we can put a couple mugs in there, a t-shirt, or maybe we can do a voucher for our shirt for a future spirit store or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think our next spirit store would be until,
I wish we had 3 shirts.
Yeah.
Because
know.
I would just say, since we haven't given it to them yet, we can just order it from the
order a
store.
new one for them. We
Right.
could, and we totally
then
could do
wait.
that.
I have some brand new shirts in, that we have, we can give some of those up.
Okay.
I have some cool warrior pins that I just got.
Cool.
Okay. With the shirts, do we need to be worried about, like, say you win this?
And it's not your size or whatever?
Someone is like a small and it's like a XL that's in the, you know?
I think if you get what you get, you don't get upset when we do
Okay.
that. I bet that's about the best we can do. Unless there's something else that we wanted to plan on doing, like if we thought about doing something else.
Why don't
for-
we give them some of the vouchers for Warrior Nights?
We can do that as well. We can include a voucher to the Warrior Night, that'll be that following Friday, and have that on there. That is a request that we had. There was a committee that asked for 6 vouchers for an upcoming Warrior Night. I just said yes and made them up, and they've been sitting in my son's backpack for the last 2 days. So I've got to drop them in her mailbox. But I actually already have a few of those already printed up, ready to go. So we can include that in there as well. And we have some of the leftover, like, coffee packets that we can put in there with the coffee mugs and kind of do some stuff to.
So for the mugs though, do you wanna do, since they're doing, Mrs. Guanchi said they would create the baskets. We
Oh,
don't
they
need
would
to-
create the baskets?
Yeah,
Okay.
so they just need stuff, so,
Okay.
so if they're doing 1 per grade, then why don't we do 2 mugs
2
in
mugs
each one?
per basket, so
Yeah.
we'll give 6 mugs and, man, I wish I had a shirt that I hadn't worn yet or something, you know what I mean?
Well, if Joe has
you would-
a
yeah.
shirt that he can.
If you've got one more shirt, Joe, that could,
We got a bunch of shirts.
help us out there. And if you want one, we'll reimburse by getting you a new one from the spirit store.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
No, we have tons of shirts.
Okay.
And then if there's other things, if we wanna do a gift card or something, we can do something like that too.
We do have, I mean, we have chips that we could, you know, put a couple chip bags in there, if that's something that, you know.
Okay. We'll see if that's something they wanna have for assembling the baskets, if they
Yeah.
want food items or they don't, let us know, and we can pull that stuff together, but we've got some stuff.
Cool.
So I will reach back out to Rachel and to you as well, Amy, since you've been chiming in on this, just so you know what's going on. And I'll send you an email about what we've got and what we'll put together. And if you have any other asks for us, let us know. But yeah, I think it's a great idea to have that stuff and have something for trying to get people to be more engaged. So, all right, so that's proof, but we'll get that going. All right, so then thinking about where we're at, I had this idea, this was earlier this month, and Mr. Caney doesn't even know about this idea yet. But I had some ideas for what are some things that we can do. You know, we obviously have some money in our accounts, and we have grants and things like that that we're still trying to do with this stuff. But what are some things that can help out around AUGS? And this first one is maybe even a little like selfishly helps us out a little bit too. But one thing, I was in the office and they had a laptop sitting on like on the desk or whatever there, and it was facing out, and it was just kind of cycling through the announcements. And when I saw that, you know, it was actually on one of the boosters pages of the announcements that we have on there, and it got me thinking. I wonder if we had something a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit better, like a TV, like a 32-inch TV or things like that, that we could put there maybe in the office or in the cafeteria or other common places, hallways, whatever, that we could use for that they could put digital messaging on there to remind students about things and whatnot. Now, Joe, I don't know if that's something you've ever thought about doing, or if there's...
I've been trying to do it for the last 5 years, right?
Is the,
So that was my,
is the roadblock the funds to get the TVs, or is the roadblock the trying to get it done and set up?
trying to get it done and done the right way.
Okay.
And then like COVID kind of hit, we kind of had a plan, and then
Mhm.
we put it on the back burner, and then we are seriously looking at renovations for AUGS,
Mhm.
which there was a presentation last night at a board meeting about it, so it was kind of like, all right, let's wait and see instead of put a bunch of stuff up, but
Okay.
I would love to have one at least in the office, so when parents come in,
Mhm.
that's kind of my makeshift way of
It was great.
pushing the.
It was great, but I'm
issue,
like, well, maybe we could up-level that a little bit. And I'm like, I mean, we could easily go out and get that. And I was even thinking, well, if, you know, the only way to do it is, you know, you can throw it on a memory stick, or maybe it's gotta be, you know, whatever it is to make it play. You know, obviously, we're not gonna buy a laptop or something like that, but if it's an Apple TV that we've gotta get that attaches to the back or whatever, I'd be happy to work with that, because I think that's mutually beneficial. It helps the school, it helps us a little bit, especially you guys being so gracious to let us put stuff in the announcements. I think it would be a cool thing to do. So, and especially with Black Friday coming up, TVs are gonna be really cheap.
I'm not lining up anywhere.
No, it's called online.
Yeah.
Online shopping. But if that's something you'd be interested in, Joe, I think that would be something that would be worthwhile. And just looking around the room, I think I'm seeing a lot of nods that this would be a good idea. So if that's something you would like to do, let me know, and we can talk about it and figure out how we can make something like that happen. But I do get, like, there's
Even more
logistical
temporary,
constraints
you know.
and things like that with some of this stuff, but I'm happy to have that discussion and figure it out. The other thing is, and we don't have it in here, we'll post a picture of the drink cooler. We got the drink cooler in, and it's really sweet. It's really nice looking. I don't know, based off of, you know, how we have it and whatnot.
There.
There we go. It turned out much nicer than even like the rendering, like the preview that I had on it. But I don't know, Joe, is that something that we should consider getting more of? You know, to replace the old blue ones? I know we're replacing one of them right now, I would assume.
I mean, two always seem to work for what we use them for.
Yeah,
So.
I know when we did one of the breakfasts with like yogurts and stuff, like yogurts was in one, drinks was in another,
Mhm.
it definitely helps out too.
So maybe we consider another one. I mean, all in with shipping and everything, I think it was $150. The only downside was, I think it took like 6 weeks to get it. But it's not the end of the world. We have one, we have the old one. Now that we've seen that one come in and how nice it is, and if Erica, you wanna see it before we go, it's in the staff lounge. It's really just, it really turned out way better than I thought it would, especially for the cost. That might be a worthwhile thing, because again, that's something we use for events, but you know, I know that they'll use them here as well. And then the other thing was, do we have any other ideas? Other things that we can look at that would help at the school, help us with things at events that we're gonna have here for the boosters, whatnot. Open to suggestions. If people have them, please let us know. I know we have grant requests and things like that out there for the staff, but we should, you know, open that up to our other members, our parents, our Anybody else that has ideas on things that we can do?
One thing I did think of is, would it behoove us to buy our own photo booth? Not to take funds away from the
Mhm.
awesome lady who's been doing it, but is that something that, we would, recoup funds? I have no idea even how much it would be to, get a blow up one like that, but.
So the blow up booth itself, like I think the ones that she has are blow up and then they light up. I looked at that originally and I wanna say that the booth itself was maybe like $500 to $1,000, depending on how big it is. And that's just the booth. The tricky part comes in the
Making
camera,
pictures.
the printer,
The person?
and then the person that has it there, and then the material goes through. That's where it starts to add up. And that's the tricky part. And my thing is, yes, we could do that. We could buy that stuff and we could set something like that up. However, my time here is limited. If that goes past me, are people also going to be tech savvy enough to run that? You know what I mean?
Good point, yeah.
That was my concern. And I'm not opposed to it. When we could look at it again, I don't know if maybe they have a better system. Sometimes I've seen these places where you go, I've seen them in Nashville, like they've had them in like restaurants, or actually I think the one I'm thinking of is they had it at a distillery, and it's like a self kiosk, and you hit the buttons and whatever, and then it
Yeah.
spits out a thing. Now the quality is not nearly as good as the ones that we get as far as the printout there. I think it was only black and white and whatever. But it's still, you can get the images via social media and stuff like that. So there are things out there. I'll take a look and I'll price it out again and see if my pricing is the same. But we can talk about it at the next meeting and see if that's something we would want to do for the future. Because if it's something that's more kiosk related like that, maybe that is something we could do.
Yeah. I mean, if that's something we think that will continue for a while, I mean, if we have her 4 times, it's at least $1,200, if
Yep.
not more if we extend the time. So
Mhm.
it's something I thought about, but.
No, it's a good idea. And originally when I thought about doing this, I thought, oh, we should totally just build our own. That would be cheaper and whatever in the long run and make an investment. And then it got complex trying to figure out how do
Sure,
you do
yeah.
this, how do you not do this. But let me take a look and see again, because maybe it does. And that's something that if we have it, student council can use it, anybody can use it for any of the different ones.
Right.
So, okay. Again, if you have any other thoughts, I'm not going to stay on this too long, but if you have any other thoughts, put them in the comments, let us know, reach out to one of us. I think this is worthy conversation to have, not just tonight, but moving forward. Let us know your ideas and thoughts on some of this. All right, moving on, updates. All right, so we had the new program we talked about at Heart of the Warrior. We launched it the last meeting. Did we talk about it the last meeting? I think so. But we had that out there, and we've launched it. The idea behind it is to recognize students at AUGS, not just the students that are always the top performers and get good grades and whatever, but to give a variety of reasons for students to get recognized. So you could get it for getting good grades, you could get it for just being a good person, whatever it is. There's lots of reasons. You're nominated by staff at AUGS or one of the boosters on the board because you did something at a booster event that was great that we noticed and kind of went from there. That's the notion for it. It's not just free for all. Anybody can nominate anything. We're still trying to make it special and worthy of recognition, but yet at the same time, we want to have lots of reasons for kids to get nominated and get as many kids nominated as possible. So that's why we have that out there. What's going to happen is there will be a raffle of all the kids nominated on the last day of the trimester. The last day of the trimester this time is Friday. So we've got a raffle coming up, and we will choose 1 student per team per grade level. So that means there's 9 total winners for this. And what we're giving away this time is we're giving away $25 gift cards. This time, next time, it might be different prizes. But this is what we decided on here. If you have suggestions for the next one, let us know, and we're willing to consider that, and we'll have that out there. We have been posting, it took us a little while to get to the weekly winners things because we had to work out like who's on this and who's on the do not publish list and whatever, but we've got that process worked out now, and I feel pretty confident about it. So this last week, we pushed out our first list of the nominees for this trimester. It's a little bit smaller than we want, but we just launched it like with a month of the trimester, not too much. And I think maybe staff didn't know about it as much. They're not quite accustomed to it as much, so we don't have quite as many nominations coming in, but I think we'll grow, especially as we give away some stuff and we do this first time. It'll only get better as time goes on. But I posted those ones nominated on Facebook this week, and during the announcements, there's going to be more students because there are a few more that have come in since we posted that, so that'll be coming out there. And why do people get nominated? Again, for any reason deserved. So a little bit about the numbers to let you know. So far we have 42 students nominated. There's been 50 nominations, so there are a few students that have been nominated more than once for different reasons, which is totally fine. You can get nominated as many times as you want for being an excellent AUGS Warrior, but that's just the way it is. The raffle date is this Friday. Again, 9 winners, $25 gift card each. Different nominators. We had 9 different people nominate somebody on there, 9 different groups. There was at least one group of teachers that nominated people together on behalf of all their teams, teachers. I think it was like forgive me if I'm wrong on this one, but I think it was like 7th grade Knights or something like that, or 8th grade Knights made a couple nominations of different students. There was one person that nominated 10 people. So definitely going through, and that's totally fine too. To look at the grade numbers and the team numbers, in 8th grade there's 23 nominations, 7th grade there are 20 nominations, 6th grade is coming in at 7 nominations, so we need to get some more 6th graders nominated, hopefully. Knights, we have 21 total, Spartans 19 total, and Titans 10. I know that sometimes that the teachers and the students get a little competitive as far as teams go. I think that's something to, I wanted to put that up there just to see if we can see if there's a competition going on who can nominate the most, who's got the best kids out there. The boosters have nominated 26 students out there. And a lot of that was, we had, last time we had a student attend our meeting and provide feedback, and they were really awesome. So we nominated them for that. We've also nominated some from some of our events where we've seen good things happening. Some of our volunteers, things like that. When kids go above and beyond with the things that we ask them, we've been giving them nominations for that as well.
Quick question, so somebody is nominated more than one time.
Mm-hmm.
Do they only get one, like raffle ticket, or do they get one for each
You
time
get
they're
one. You
nominated?
get one for every time you're nominated.
Okay.
You're only going to get listed once on the sheet, for that week or whatever it is. But the more times you're nominated, the more chances you have. I think it's, hopefully we don't get where it's like the same kid is getting nominated 50 times and everybody else is getting one. I'm not seeing that, but I am seeing, 1 or 2 students are getting nominated maybe twice, 3 times, type thing. Maybe not 3 times, that's probably an exaggeration for this time, but I could see that in the future in a trimester, and they're just gonna get more chances. Hopefully we're gonna be sitting with tons and tons and tons of nominations next trimester, and it'll be, you'll see those multiples are gonna be less,
So
available.
for the future, for like our second drawing, if we draw the same person or people, can you win twice? Or are we gonna say no?
I don't see why not. Because I'd like to keep the drawing as completely random as possible. So, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Me personally, I almost think you should just get nominated one time per trimester, and you only have like one, or you could get nominated, I guess, however many times, but just have one ticket in there, just to make it more, like everybody's got one ticket, equal chance, because we're trying to make it like more equitable and recognize people that may not get, things often, and if somebody's being nominated 3 or 4 times, it leads me to believe it's a child who just a great child and, is probably recognized in other ways too. I don't know.
Yeah, I see that too.
I just wonder though, you get nominated in the first trimester, is there motivation then, the rest of the trimester, you know what I mean? I don't know. I get what you're saying, I totally get it, but I was trying to keep it as motivation for everyone, you know, I don't know, maybe. I could go around in circles.
Wishy-washy.
I could go around in circles on that one.
I know, it's hard, and I get where you're coming from too, that, you know, you wanna, the more chances you give them, the more likely they are to wanna try and earn it.
And that can be for the student that doesn't get recognized very often, maybe they're the ones that end up with 5 nominations, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
And if you look at it from the flip side, if you are that kid that goes above and beyond all the time, and you do still deserve having your name in there 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well, right now, it's gonna stand, because this is the way we talked about it, your name can be in there multiple times. So for this trimester, we're gonna leave it that way. If we wanna consider that for the next trimester, that's something we should discuss and see.
If anyone online has any feedback, please,
Yeah.
you know.
Joe, do you have any thoughts?
Question first.
Okay.
When can nominations be submitted, Mike? The latest?
I think when I rolled it out, I
Is it
said
noon
by
that day?
noon on that day, just to give me time to do the drawing. But I can also do the drawing later. It's not like I was gonna do it live on Facebook type thing, but we don't have to. I can just do the drawings and post them by the end of the day on Friday.
It does say noon on the last day. I'm just sending a reminder email to staff,
Yeah.
with the numbers on there, because they are competitive, so.
Joe, did you see my message asking if we could include that as a regular thing in your staff newsletter?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
have it in there.
That'd be great.
And then-
Because I think the idea was that sometimes they forget about these things, and so when they see it in the staff newsletter, they're like, oh, I should totally go and do that. So,
So for like student of the month, the teams do track who they give that to try to,
level the playing field.
get as many students as possible throughout the year. So there's already a program that kind of has the ability to acknowledge students, but also has more of a limit to it. Some students do get more than once because the encore gets to nominate two at a time, so. I guess the chances of winning the raffle twice in a row, I guess it's there, but I don't know how likely it is, and especially if we get more nominations in the second trimester, which I think we will.
I'm almost confident, once we get this first drawing done, we're gonna end up with 3, 4, 5, 10 times more nominations than we had this time. It's just now we're starting to
Yeah.
get publicity about it. I think people are starting to see it. I even think after we start giving away these first gift cards, I think students are going to say,
talk about it. And
like, oh, dude, look what I did. Nominate me for this. You know what I mean? They're gonna bring it up and have some buzz about it. So I don't know. I almost just wonder, should we let it go until it gauge if it's gonna become a problem, and then change course?
Well, and nobody should win twice, right? Because they're all gonna be on a different team, different grade, so you only pick one number or one ticket from each. So even if they've got
Correct.
5 in there, they're getting more chances.
They're not gonna win.
Right.
They're not gonna win from this.
One.
They're not gonna
only
win from
gonna
the
win
same
But
month.
the next trimester, they could win again.
Technically, they could. I don't think it's a very good odd going forward. This month it would have been more of a problem, but I don't think it's going to be. So because they're not multiple.
No, I'm good then with having multiple tickets in there.
But let's keep an eye on it and know that we can change the course of it if we need to, because those are valid concerns, totally. One other thing that was brought up is, so we put these in the announcements and they can see their name on there, and then we post them on Facebook to see their name on there. It was brought up on a couple occasions. Do we need to give out like a certificate with the reason that they were nominated?
I say yes, because I've seen a lot of them coming over, and some of the teachers have taken a good amount of time and wrote really nice things
Yeah.
about their students in there, and I really feel like they need to see this.
Absolutely. I mean, even if they're not
Okay.
getting the gift card, that's awesome.
Yeah.
To receive that praise or whatever.
So I don't know how we go about doing it. I don't know if we just print off the Google form. Is it as simple as that?
Ma, I don't want to just that looks stupid to me. But what we could do is we could, do we need to put who nominated them and all that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless that's gonna deter staff from nominating.
Do a mail merge onto a pre-template, certificate,
Yeah.
with the spreadsheet.
Yeah, you can have a general certificate, we can fill in the student's name, and then attach.
All right, let me play around with it. We'll see what we can do.
I
There's
can-
not that many kids right now, so we can figure it out without doing the mail merge. But before the next trimester, we need to figure it out, because if we're talking that the number of nominations are gonna go, this is gonna add up quickly. And that's my concern, is can we support that? Joe, if we have those certificates on like a weekly basis or something and just turn them into the office, you guys can get them to the students? Okay.
Yeah, if we spread them out by week,
And then
it'll be a little less overwhelming.
Are we having the district print them, or are we just printing them off? That's also stuff to consider too, cause that,
I thought about printing them off at work.
I don't use my printing account very much, so I don't mind printing them off.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let me try to figure that out and do it. I think what I was gonna kind of do, but maybe that's more work, is I was gonna think about trying to get it on like a half sheet of paper to kind of conserve on the paper a little bit and then cut them in half, but then we got to cut them off. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like half,
you just add paper cutter and.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So let me figure that out. I'll try to figure it out. Obviously, we are not gonna get all of these done like this week, but we'll get them in as timely of a manner as we possibly can. We'll still continue to post them online and whatever, but just know that they're coming. But I do agree, there are some really great
Yeah.
things in there, and that's the tricky part, because it's an open-ended field. So I know there was at least one or two that it was like a paragraph or two,
Mhm.
and then there's a few that are just, you know, a little bit more or shorter and whatever, and that's okay. But there's some really great stuff in
Yeah,
there.
it'd be
So
great for the kids to hear that.
yeah, okay. So, any more about the heart of the word? I think that's all I've got on that. All right, we wanted to talk about staff appreciation. In a week and a half, we've got conference dinners. We're doing a dinner on the 14th. There's a sign up out there. I think we're doing pretty good as far as that goes. I think we could use, Catherine?
Yeah, we need soups and salads. So we're asking for crock pots of soup, and I think we've got 3 crock pots so far of different kinds. But I was,
You guys, me and someone else.
yeah. So I was hoping to get some more of that, and then for as far as volunteer goes, it looks like we have the setup is all set. We have 6 volunteers. I think we could use a couple more for actual serving and then cleanup too. So I'll send out, like, I'll repost it again probably later this week, and
We'll get
just,
an email out that has it
Yeah.
included in there as well. I think that's just been from promotion on Facebook so far.
yeah,
so.
it was like everybody signed up. So thank you so much. That was like the best response I think I've ever had on something. So
Normally people jump to the occasion to help out with the conference dinner, so that's good. Joe, do you know where you want us to do conference dinner?
So most likely it's gonna be in the cafeteria this year.
In the
Oh,
cafeteria?
nice.
So we
Okay,
have
great.
A little shift in how we're,
That's better than the hallway.
Yeah.
and I'm willing to make a crock pot of chili if needed. I
Alright.
don't know how to make soups, but I can make chili.
yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're just gonna have a variety of things. We do need to figure out what we're doing with the sandwiches. I know we've had some ideas internally about what we're gonna do, but we need to place that order.
Oh yeah,
Catherine, can I ask you to
yeah,
do that, since you've kind of been handling that?
yep.
All right, other staff, so I think that covers us for conferences. And then, Joe, hours for staff appreciation, I just kind of went by what we did last year for times.
Should be, I'll double check, but
With
it
their
should be
break.
4:45 to 5:45.
Okay, I think that lines up with what I had on there. And then we talked about doing holiday bucks. I gotta get that up and running for December. We did that last year where parents can make a donation, and that donation goes to purchase gift cards for their for the teacher that they want. And so we pool that together for each teacher and then get them a gift card for what they're looking for. So we'll do that again this year. I know last year we kind of ran towards the end We got a little more time this year, but I don't want to go that much, so we'll probably talk about that and get that promoted here early in November, so maybe like by next week at the latest. And then we'll probably cut off like that first week of December and have the deadline, and then have a couple weeks to fulfill that and get that ready.
Are we just doing e-cards again? Or are we doing
I'd
physical?
rather not. I'd rather do the physical gift cards because I think with some of that, it took a while. I think there was even
Yeah.
there was even a few e-gift cards that came in, like got like accepted, like
Redeemed.
redeemed
August.
In August.
Oh, wow.
Like it was just sitting in their inbox for a long time, and then it just sat there for a while. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it was
It worries
a
me that
mess.
maybe somebody didn't know about it, or they forgot about it, or whatever. Maybe they were saving it, and that's great, and that's totally fine. But I would rather do the physical ones and just have them there. So we should probably get some cards.
And it'll be good because this way we'll have plenty of time to get. the
Exactly.
cards.
Yes.
And we've got a later break this year, so our break doesn't start till later this year, so that gives us a little more time as well. But any other thoughts about staff appreciation dinner for the holidays? Anything else that we want to be thinking about or doing?
I'd like to do something from the boosters,
Mhm.
like before the holiday break in December. I don't necessarily know what that is, but
I agree. We should do something. I know we kind of do that a couple times a year. It's been a while. I mean, we're doing the conference dinner, but doing something right before the holidays, I think, is a good idea. So,
Lunch?
last year, didn't we do like a welcome back breakfast?
right after, yeah, we
But
did.
they had was it because you guys had a staff and service day or something? You don't
Yeah.
have that this year though, do you? Okay.
Our in-service day is in February 7th.
But that doesn't mean we couldn't do a breakfast like the day they come back or something like that. I just know that I think when it's a regular school day, it's a little harder for them to do a breakfast or whatever, because oftentimes they might have hallway duty or drop-off duty or whatever it is. They gotta get to their classes, it's a little bit more difficult. But
Maybe we have something set up,
like
like in.
a Continental, they can go grab it when they
Yeah,
want.
or like a candy bar, or like whatever, but just something that's set
I
up
think
for
that's a great
them,
idea.
whenever they can
Yeah.
go in, they can grab it, and
I like that.
Well, there's two options there. We could do that as a comeback, welcome to the new year, type thing, or we could do a send-off, where we do something as lunch or a snack or something like that on the last day.
So I know, I'll have to ask Peggy that usually that last week before break, we do our staff feast, so people sign up for different things each day.
I think,
All right, welcome back then.
A welcome back might just, it's kind of nice.
Say no more. We'll do that. So if you have ideas, thoughts on what we can do for that welcome back, whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, whatever it is, we can figure it out, and we'll work on pulling something like that together.
Mrs. Guanchi said after, please.
Okay, great. It's unanimous then. I'll stop talking. Anything else for staff appreciation? I mean, no, we've got other stuff that we've got to do for
The second half of the
for
year.
the second half of the year in May. There's a lot going on there with those. We might want to consider whatever we do. If we do breakfast, we might want to consider also doing something over at the bus barn as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, all right. All right. Spiritware. We talked a little bit about Spiritware. It's on sale now. You have until November 21st. I kind of tried to keep that window open as long as possible. If you place your order by November 21st, and that November 21st is going to be like 7 a.m. on November 21st, so really think about it as the 20th, I guess. You will get your order before the holidays. So that's the way we set it up. So if you're looking for holiday gifts, things like that, they've got some nice polos, they've got some sweatshirts, pajama pants. I think there's some knit hats. There's some winter stuff in there as well. A lot of the nice things that we've had from some of the previous stores as well. So there's lots of options there. It's a pretty nice store.
Yeah.
So check it out. Make great holiday gifts. Or if your kids have seen something like, oh, that's really cool. I wish I had gotten that the last one. I think Joe even said that. Oh, I wish I had that. I had ordered that one.
I have it in my basket.
Yeah. So definitely get your Spiritware orders in. We probably will not do another one until maybe the spring, if we even do one in the spring. So that's a good chance.
will those be shipped directly, or is it coming to
Oh, come to the school.
They will come to the school.
That's what happened.
What we
last
can
time, so-
do is, if you want them as a gift, reach out to the boosters, to me specifically. I will make sure it gets held back, and we'll make arrangements for you to get it separately and not get sent home with your student. Okay? I will put that out there when we put that in the email as well. Reach out to me. I will specifically do it. If that means I've got to run it to your house and make a meetup with you, I
That's
personally
fine.
will do that. To make the spirit of Christmas alive, that's what we'll do. So, all right. We're not looking for donations. I copied that from a different slide. Sorry. All right, Warrior Night. This is a fun one. So, we had this one set for Halloween. We went back and forth. Thank you for your patience as we were trying to figure out how to handle this, how to reschedule it. There are a ton of moving parts with this. Not only is it this group and our volunteers and what their schedules are, but we had student council involved. We have the building involved. We have the people that run the photo booth. We had our DJ involved. We have the Lake County Sheriff who run traffic for us involved. There's a lot of moving parts that made it difficult for us to say, oh, we're available on this date, but we're not available on this day, and trying to figure it out. The best decision that we could figure out and to get the word out, we could have kept hemming and hawing and trying to figure out how we do it. How do we change it? How do we do this? We wanted to keep this theme. We think the students are still going to enjoy it. That was the consensus, talking with staff and other people and parents, that students will still enjoy this. We just moved it to our next scheduled Warrior Night because we already had 3/4 of everything reserved for that day. So that's why we moved it to that date. I know it's a little bit later than we had hoped for, but it was the best we could do. So apologize for the inconvenience. There was really nothing we could do about it. It's the best we can do, and we're trying to make it fun. And it's still going to be a great night for our students. We did offer anybody that needed a refund because they weren't going to be able to make it. Maybe they were going to be going out of town, whatever it is, what they had plans. I issued probably about 5 or 6 refunds. So that's individual students, not that many. So if you signed up already, you're already signed up for this one. It just carries over. If for some reason you still needed a refund, let us know. Happy to do it. I understand. But we'll still be selling it. Everything is going to be basically the same. And we're just going to do it on November 18th. So hopefully we'll still have a good turnout. Kids will have a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a blast. It'll be a good time. So that's what's going on with the Warrior Night.
Do we have a link so that if people purchase for the last time?
It's the same link that it was before.
Okay.
I just
Still on
changed the date, updated it. It's all there. We've got it on the
Yeah,
website.
we'll
I'll
need
send out more
volunteers,
emails.
though.
We do need volunteers, and there is a different volunteer link. So if you volunteered, you need to re-volunteer, because I can't assume that your donation of time for the October 21st is going to carry for the November 18th. So we do need to rework on the volunteers, but that's already up. It's been up for a while.
Yeah,
And I've
we
seen
need
some
to push it
volunteers
a
already,
little bit
but
more.
we'll push it a little bit more and get out there. So that's out there as well. Upcoming Warrior Nights, we talked about this a little bit last time. The other big one is our Snowball, which is December 9th. I know it says or 16th, that's old, sorry, my bad. We've got that one coming up, and we really need to get on that one. So we need to start doing a planning session. And I know the whole point was, oh, well, we'll start our planning session right after we get past this big one on November 21st. Well, we don't have that luxury anymore.
No.
So we've got to get that moving as well. We do have some pieces in place. We have the photo booth. We have the DJ set for that night, but we got to start thinking about decorations and what we're going to do there. One thing that I thought about doing for this and have started making discussions, well, you might know because you were there when this conversation came up. I'd like to also consider doing a collection for Antioch Traveling Closet because they have a giveaway about a week later. That's their big holiday giveaway that we can put in association with that. I think with holidays, it's nice to give back a little bit more than just collecting something. I think that would be something nice that we can pay it forward with a little bit. So we can talk about that a little bit more and how we do it. I know some people reached out about being part of a committee to help plan that snowball. We're going to go back to those comments that we had from the last meeting and the people that have reached out.
Yeah.
We're going to set something up probably for next week for our first one, and we're going to get this kicked off and start going from there. I'm also thinking ahead, and we've got that talent show. We need to start planning that one. I will take the reins on that one and kind of lead setting up a committee to talk about that and start doing that because right after we get back from the holidays, we need to start promoting that so people have time to get their acts together and the different
Literally.
talents and whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yep, literally.
More than-
So I'll take the lead on that one, but we'll get this other one for the snowball going and get that going as
Is
well.
student council involved in the snowball as well? Do they want to be?
They had expressed interest in being involved in the December one and in the February one, but there was no like here they offered up doing a fair. They didn't offer up what they wanted to do for that. So I don't know if they're actually doing anything or if they just want to provide volunteers to help us run it or what it is.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to them
Okay.
and see where they're at. I don't know if that changes with having them kind of back to back like that, but we'll find out. So.
You know, like, cause if they don't, and we still charge like, you know, the $12, do we give them a discount for bringing something within?
We could,
Like, what it
or
costs, you know?
we could say, cut our prices and say it's this plus a donation, you know, type thing. So, that was kind of my thought, you know, maybe we just forego some of it. Another thought that I had was, bring a donation, we give you a wristband that gives you unlimited use of a photo booth for the night. That would be another way of doing it,
Well,
so.
they have it anyway.
We're doing the photo booth anyway, aren't we?
Well, we
Yeah.
are doing the photo booth that night, but what we could do is only people with wristbands get to go into the photo booth.
Okay.
And
for that,
in
yeah.
order to get a wristband, you have to bring a donation to Indiana Trailing Closet.
It can be something like that.
Something,
Yeah, we'll
there's
just have to
lots of
figure it out,
options. We'll
yeah.
talk about it as the committee and figure out what way we want to do it. I feel good about that. I don't know if anybody else does, but.
I'm gonna talk to Melissa maybe about taking that one, the snowball, cause I know she's super excited about that, so.
Okay.
I was kinda thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her if she wants to take the
Unfortunately, she's not
reins
here
on
tonight,
that.
so I mean.
I don't wanna
She's not here, so
volunteer.
surprise, it's yours. No, I don't think she's gonna complain about that. But can kind of go from there. And then January will be here before us. If anyone has ideas for what we want to do, if we just go back to the
I think
the
standard
standard one.
format.
We won't have the photo booth that night, so if we need to have something else besides just open gym and food, we might want to consider something like that. So, we'll figure it out.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. All right. That's Warrior Nights. Then, there's Warrior Nights Out. And I will take full blame on this one. I listed some dates as TBD, and unfortunately, we did not get them done in time. So, case in point, this Fridays, in some places, you may have seen Warrior Night at Bella's roller rink on November 4th or 5th. We have not promoted any details on that, but unfortunately, it also made it into the superintendent newsletter and maybe some other places. And unfortunately, when we tried to set this, when we tried to set this up, we lost the date. Somebody else had booked it out from under us, and so we were kind of hemming and hawing. Well, do we do it here? Do we do it there? And it delayed too much. So, note to self: we're going to get a new list of dates coming up here for this next trimester, and we're going to get a flyer out to everybody. But if you look at any of the other dates that we've promoted, like on the schedule, if it has a question mark on it, that means it's not set in stone. So,
Or TBD means
yeah, or TBD, to be determined. Yeah. So, lesson learned: we will not talk or promote anything or even list a date if it's not set in stone anymore. We won't do that. So, I apologize if anyone was, expecting that and it didn't happen. We will try to reschedule the Bella's roller rink one. We'll talk about that. There were some ideas maybe to do it over break or something like that. Maybe we can still make that happen. But there are some things, kind of like February 11th at Antioch Lanes, TBD. That's not set in stone yet. We wanted to wait till we got a little closer before we talk to them. I will reach out to them though and start trying to solidify that one for February. So we'll go from there. Also the one at March 3rd on Skyline, not set in stone, not set in stone. So
There's no skyline.
It's Sky Zone.
oh, Sky Zone, my bad.
Well, they wouldn't know where to show up to, so.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Well, that might be a worse problem. I don't know. I don't need some kids showing up to a bar or something, 'cause that's kind of what it sounds like. So, yes. Also, if there's any other ideas for upcoming Warrior Night outs, let us know. We can take a look at those. We do have one up for the Chicago Wolves. I will get that sign up out also this week, so I've got a bunch of sign-ups I need to create.
That one's for sure.
And that one is for sure.
Yeah.
We've locked that in. We just haven't created the sign-up for selling tickets yet because it was so far in advance. we wanted to wait till we got a little closer, so.
Do we wanna try and do anything over winter break for people that are around, or?
Well, technically, January 7th is the last night of winter break, or the last
That's
Saturday
right.
of winter break.
We did talk about that.
Yeah. So, we have that. We could look at doing something else. Erica, I think I heard you talking about wanting to do something at the movie theater.
As long
I-
as I'm not in the balcony.
I say that jokingly. No, I mean, there's lots of things we could consider doing. But it is rough that time of year, you know.
I know everybody's busy, so it's tough to.
Mhm. So, we could look at it. We got some time, but if someone has a definite idea, we could do. I mean, that's the other thing is we could do Bella's over that period of time too,
Yeah.
and do it over winter break. I mean, it is like a two-week break, so
Yeah,
actually
it's
it might
always
even
2
be a little
weeks.
longer than 2 weeks, it seems like.
No, it's 2 weeks.
Okay, well, whatever. So, but there's options there, so we'll take a look at that and maybe get it scheduled, that Bella's for either then or Thanksgiving or winter break, and try to do that. So, again, my apologies for any confusion. Save the date, this is kind of looking at that schedule that we had out there. Things do get canceled sometimes. We've got one for trimester 2, so we'll get this out. It took me a little while to get this list pulled back together because I lost all my files a while ago, so I've got to recreate everything. But I think I was able to save it. I found it like in an email, and I've been able to kind of cannibalize it. So, Joe, I'll be sending a flyer over for approval here shortly that we can hopefully get out in the next week or so, once we get approval. And fundraisers. Part of that flyer on the opposite side, we're going to be talking about our one and done fundraiser. We were trying to do that last time, but it took us a while to get approval from the district, and by the time that it was approved, like the backside was no longer valid because it talked about
Richardson's. and it was,
Richardson
like, the day
and whatever,
of.
so we just didn't send it out. I was gonna do another one, and then Warrior Night got canceled, and it was just like, oh, yeah. So we'll get this, get a new one posted out and have that information out there. So watch for flyers coming home. I'd say probably in the next week and a half, we'll try to get a flyer out to everybody for that. Don't quote me on that time, though. Again, we need you talking about volunteers. We got the Warrior Challenge going on. We're looking for people to get involved, students, staff, anybody out there. You know, it was great. Richardson Farm was fantastic. We had some great volunteers that come out. We had staff that came out, and oh my gosh, that was the hit of the night. All the staff that was there. There was a whole team of teachers that came. The 7th grade Spartan teachers were there. They were in the corn maze with the students, and let me tell you, I think every student that was in there thought that was the greatest part about Richardson Farm. So it does make a difference when we have staff out there. It makes a difference. The students that come and help us and pull this stuff off, like with Student Council, they're doing this with us for the Warrior Night coming up. Huge impacts. The parents help too. It really does make a difference. So if you can be involved with one thing this year, and in 2023 too, that would be great. Anytime that you can be involved with anything, we really appreciate it, and it helps us get the things done and makes a difference for the AUGS. Our next meeting is December 7th at 7 p.m. We'll do some subcommittee meetings before then. So thank you. If you have anything else, please reach out. We'll try to get answers to your questions, or we can question your answers too. That's fine. But thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and hopefully maybe we'll see you at our next meeting.